Evening.
The other story I want to tell you is that we had a rule. My father very rarely was very forceful about what I did or how I did, but he insisted that if I wanted to go to work, I could work, but I must go to school at night. So, which I did, and I had a job with you all right? In a millinery firm, and it was probably the largest one in the area, and the two owners were wonderful people, but the salesperson, the sales partner, was a big, he was tall and he was very plump, but he had a wonderful personality. And he's the one who brought in all of the business. And the other guy, I forget his name at the moment, he supervised the factory, the help and everybody else. And I worked in the stock room with another young man and a girl. And when people in the factory, did I say it was a millinery factory? Yeah. Would need something, a button or a bow or a thread or whatever, we'd have to find it and bring it to them of the right color. And this young woman, who was about 2 years older than we were about 16 or 17, maybe she was 19 or 20, and she would come on to both of us in a very odd way. There was nothing that was actually verbal, but she would rub up against you, so that her breast would touch your shoulder or your back. And it developed slightly because tentatively we would touch her breast when nobody else was around, because the confines of this room was quite small. And one day we noticed, or at least I noticed, that my boss, Izzy Rosenberg, that's the big fat guy, passed by, and he just saw what was going on and he kept walking. Several weeks later, I was standing at the elevator ready to go to school at night, and he calls out and he said, he was sitting in his office. He said, "You have a few minutes?" I said, "Sure." Come in. So I sat down. I thought maybe I had done something wrong, so I sat down, and he said, "How are you doing?" So I said, "Fine." "You like your job?" "Yes." "Going to school?" "Yes." He says, "You know anything about horses?" I said, "Not very much." "Well, horses never shit where they eat." I looked at him and I was amazed. I really couldn't, it just didn't sink in. I didn't know at the moment what he was getting at. He said, "Well, I'll see you tomorrow morning." Okay, so I walked out and I walked to the subway to go to school. I kept thinking, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Finally it dawned on me. Don't fool around.
That is funny. I like that.
That's a learning experience, Brett.